Okay, welcome back. Today is looking like a very sad day for the Virgin Group, as one of their subsidiaries, Virgin Orbit, has declared bankruptcy and filed for Chapter 11. Let's have a look through what's gone wrong with the company and what can be retrieved from the whole situation going forward. If you've not watched one of our videos before, please like, subscribe and click the bell for notifications for future videos, and we will crack on. Awesome. Now, as always, the method I use is SWOT analysis. That is the strength of the company, the weakness of the company, the opportunities the market affords the company, and any threats the market could hold towards the company, just to kind of get a kind of rough estimate of the value of the company when it comes to shares. So a few years back, there was this great race to start off between all the billionaires in the world, where they were all trying to get in space. We all know about Elon Musk and SpaceX and how well that's done. What we don't know is that there was another billionaire called Richard Branson who had a group called Virgin Galactic. Now, what he tried to do was something very different from everybody else. Rather than launching just straight rockets, he decided to get involved with a company, and that company had just won the Ansari Space Prize from Google. The company's called Scale Composites. It was run by a gentleman called Burt Rutten. The idea was to launch vehicles from underneath other planes, and that's where Virgin Galactic came from, and Virgin Orbit is a spin-off of this. It's quite simple. You basically fly up in space, you drop the thing underneath it, and it flies into orbit. This is where various things start to go wrong. Now, the strength of the company is very simple. It's got a lot of very world-class engineers behind it, and it's got an idea which should, on the whole, be quite safe. Rockets being launched from planes isn't that uncommon, let's be honest. It's been used in warfare since, who knows what, Second World War. Basically every missile in the world is a rocket that gets launched from a plane, or a carrier at the bottom, or however. But in the context of what we're doing, this isn't uncommon technology. They've just scaled up and used it for civilian use. They had a lot of contracts going on, and it was looking very promising for a while. However, yes, this is where the however's come. Despite the fact that of the first 6 flights it had sent up, 4 of them have been successful, with its first rocket going up in 2020, they were burning through cash much faster than any other rocket company would have expected, given its situation. According to the Financial Times, the first mistake was the decision to go public via a special purpose acquisition company, just as sentiment turned on space investments in 2021, then 2021. Virgin Orbit was only able to raise half of what it needed. It had asked for 400 million and only raised 200 million. This put them behind everybody else in what they wanted to do. Now, their international launches, which were going to be based out of the Mojave Desert and California and Australia, were basically entering a difficult place. I mean, there was interest from all over the world. Poland, Australia, the Middle East especially, with a number of people in the Middle East actually putting money into this. Richard Branson had put $1 billion of his own money into this, and as a spin-off of Virgin Galactic, it was expected to do quite well. In fact, that was part of the request, was that by putting money in from, by actually having a commercial section to launch satellites, and Virgin Galactic would then have cash to be able to expand on what it wanted to do. Virgin Galactic, if you've not been following the story on that one, their craft have been grounded temporarily while they sort out a number of technical issues. Although the vehicle works at a smaller scale, as they increase the size of their vehicles, they've gotten kind of a little bit more unmanageable. So there's not much cash going around, but there's not much cash going around because basically Elon Musk is sucking it all up into the success of what he's doing. But we can't hold him responsible for what's going on with Virgin Orbit, because Virgin Orbit is very different from what everybody else is doing. Basically, the company wanted to do far more launches than we're capable of. In fact, in order to kind of justify the amount of money that was being invested, it would have needed somewhere probably 1 launch a week in order to get up there, to bring in profit. This was completely unreasonable. The Emirati fund raiser, a gentleman called Mubdala, I've probably got that wrong entirely, basically only invested on the condition that it had a commercial wing to launch satellites. This is where everything starts to go wrong for the company in a very short space of time, as they just burn through the cash very, very, very rapidly. So is there a future for Virgin Orbit? It's unlikely at this point. Chapter 11 just allows them to put everything online, lets investors try and recoup some of their cash, so I imagine that a large chunk of their stuff is going to be sold off. They've laid off 675 of their staff, I believe, and what's unusual is that under the terms of the remuneration terms for the chief executive Dan Hart going forward, should the company have gone under, and this was only done a week or two ago, he gets $1.5 million for a company which has now gone bankrupt. I don't know how investors are going to feel about that, but what can they do? It's not their company. All they can do is basically complain and do whatever they need to do after that. Hopefully this won't affect Virgin Galactic too much, and any resources that aren't sold to meet creditors' costs will be absorbed into Virgin Galactic, and that will enhance what they're doing, and they can go back to flights by the end of the year. The market for satellite technology and space technology is huge. Like we've talked about Elon Musk going up with SpaceX, he wants to go to the moon, he wants to go to Mars, he wants to save mankind and do all sorts of wonderful spacey stuff. And then we have various rivals, not least companies from countries themselves. So we've got NASA, we've got European Space Agency, Japan, China, India. They've all got their own space companies. Then we have kind of the almost runs from Amazon with their Blue Origin spaceships, and thousands and thousands of amateurs across the world who are all kind of trying to get various bits of equipment up there for various reasons. Virgin existed in a nice little kind of niche kind of area, and it's an interesting company because basically they've got a Virgin Atlantic plane thing, they've got Virgin, they used to have Virgin trains. I mean, the conglomerates of Virgin are just huge and go on for ages and ages. It doesn't really do much for Richard Branson's reputation, but I don't think in this instance this is something that's really his fault. I don't think he really wanted to do this. I think he was more interested in getting people up there rather than having another delivery company or a delivery company of any sort. I think the technology between sending a rocket up and sending a spacecraft like Spaceship One, which is the galactic model, is very different from what Virgin Orbit did, which is to send a straight rocket up. If you were following a few weeks ago, back I think this was the end of January, beginning of February, they tried to launch a rocket from Cornwall in the UK. This failed miserably. That seems to have had just a cascade event, which has basically just knocked the company completely, and they've just stopped basically launching rockets the way they did do. I think basically if they just have it as one company, Virgin Galactic, rather than Virgin Galactic, Virgin Orbit, just a single space company, I think they'll do better. Orbit was a spin-off from Galactic, so although the share prices in Galactic are going to be smacked very hard over the next 48 to 72 hours, I think over time, once Galactic starts getting things up there again, it will be okay, and they'll start rehiring and start making money. So where are we up to with this? Yes, the next 72 hours, Virgin Orbit shares are disappearing. They're not available on most platforms anyway. I've never seen them available on eToro or any of the other retail investment sites, which is, if you're watching this channel, this is what you're going to be interested in: retail investment. You're not going to be interested in high-end shares that would only be available off market. Virgin Galactic, however, is always been disappointment for me. I've got investment in this, and yeah, to say I'm disappointed in what it's doing is an understatement. But you can obviously see that the space industry has a huge future to it. It's whether Virgin can capitalize on that or find a niche within it in any way, shape or form. At the moment, that just seems unlikely. But you never know if they can pull this off, and maybe the downfall of Virgin Orbit. Wait for everything that's gone on. Okay, that's it for now. I'll thank you.